This phone call took place on October 6th of 2016 at 3:01 p.m.
This is Kay. I'm calling to check on Alex to talk to him and find out where he is. Kay?
This phone call took place on October 6th of 2016 at 3:01 p.m. More than likely, someone will come after me for exposing these conversations. And I am okay with that. I don't really care. Worst case scenario, someone will have an attorney write me a letter, send me a cease and desist. But that doesn't really scare me. I don't really care. I would love to see someone take me to court for exposing child abuse that has never been adequately investigated. It just doesn't happen. You can't really sue somebody for exposing child abuse that should have been investigated, and the person guilty of the child abuse should have been held accountable legally. Carl, my ex-husband, doesn't really have anything else he can do to me or take away from me, unless he could get me in behind a firing squad, which he would absolutely love to do if he thought he could get away with it. And I've lived in fear my entire life, but I will not live in fear anymore. I've lived and now I live in fear for my children's safety. And there are days when it's really hard. I don't sleep well. I don't know when I will ever see my kids again. I don't know if I will ever see my kids again. And what is overwhelming to me is the lack of concern that comes from my extended family. Despite the overwhelming evidence I have of abuse, and the lack of concern from my ex-husband's family, not one person from my ex-husband's family has reached out to me and said, "Hey Kay, is there anything I can do? How are you doing? I'm so sorry." I have been completely on my own. There is no one. And I can understand, I can see, I mean, it's not a surprise to me if someone thinks I deserve abuse. I know that it should be. I don't think my children deserve abuse. And I don't think that my children have deserved the abuse that they've had to receive from their father. And the way that it has made me feel is that people think that I deserve abuse. And I have felt that people are okay with my ex-husband abusing our kids. I don't know what it is like to live a life without somebody trying to destroy it. I can't imagine, because when I was married, my mother did whatever she could to cause problems in my marriage, and my sister-in-law and brother-in-law did whatever they could to cause problems in our marriage, and they were happy when my ex-husband divorced me. And it is astounding how they still stand behind him, and they know that he is involved in child abuse. If you support someone who you know is involved in child abuse, you are part of the problem. And you are a part of the abuse. There is nothing more insidious than child abuse. Absolutely nothing. And it is astounding to me that Carl's family doesn't even recognize the pattern of abuse that has gone on and that has affected my kids. And they don't care. The only thing they cared about was getting rid of me. But they did not care if a man raised our children that was capable of putting his hands around our son's neck and making him think he's going to choke him and kill him, or dragging him 5 feet across the carpet and giving him carpet burn, or allowing a woman who has confessed in the past to perpetrating a sex crime against her own daughter, even though my mother is no longer living, it doesn't change the fact that she did, in fact, perpetrate a sex crime against me with my father. The fact that my parents are no longer living does not negate what they did to me. It doesn't mean that if someone who abuses a child passes away, it doesn't mean that that abuse never took place. It doesn't mean that that person never perpetrated an act of abuse against a child. And that is the way this has been treated. Oh, well, my mother's no longer living, and so it really doesn't matter if Carl had her around our kids. But I think it does. He allowed a woman around our children who admitted to drugging me with a narcotic so that my father could sexually assault me. And he said that she was wonderful around our kids. He thinks that someone like that is wonderful around our children. I cannot even see my kids. And it is astounding that people think a man who has been involved in so much child abuse towards our children is allowed to have custody of them. And I have tirelessly advocated for them, even through this podcast, which I will continue to do so. And I will continue to advocate alone. That's fine. Despite what letters I may receive in the mail, despite what threats I may receive, despite who threatens me, I will still continue to advocate for the safety of my kids, because I don't know if they are going to make it out of this okay. I really do not have any idea.